Hello, everybody. This is Tucker Miller here again, and tonight, like I said, for my next movie review, I'm gonna be reviewing on ParaNorman. Came out in 2012. So, the plot of this movie is we got this boy named Mormon, who is an outcast because he does have the ability to, like, see and talk to the dead and all that. But of course, his family doesn't believe him, and he gets picked on at school a lot because of his ability. But then meanwhile, oh, his uncle, Mr. Prendergast, who was voiced by John Goodman, passes away, and he gave his mission to Mormon to like read this book to this to the witch on his on the anniversary of the witch's death before she wakes up from the grave, but it was too late. So yeah, like zombies are coming back from the dead, and the witch has woken up and there's like this curse and there's this like curse and all that. So Mormon teams up with his best friend Emil, his sister Courtney, who is voiced by Anna Kendrick, Mitchell, and Alvin. So yeah, so they teamed up together, and so yeah, and it is up to Mormon to put the witch back to sleep, and that's basically what the plot is. Now, what do I have to say about ParaNorman? I really liked ParaNorman. I really liked this film. It's a pretty good movie. Pretty good movie. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot. So yeah. Yeah, and believe it or not, this is one of my brother's all-time favorite movies. That's right. My brother loves this movie. It's one of his like all-time favorites. Yeah, that's one of my brother's favorite movies. So yeah, he loves this movie. And believe it or not, I actually saw this film in theaters back in 2012 because my brother really wanted to see it. That's right, my brother really wanted to see this movie a lot. Like, he really wanted to see it. So I saw this movie in theaters with my mom, my stepdad, and of course my brother, since he really wanted to see it. So yeah, and my brother really loved it. That on the way home, when we were about to head home, he was crying on the way home because he wants to go back to the movie. He wants to go watch it again. I remember that night. And I believe we saw it on opening night, August 17th, 2012. I believe that's when this film came out. I do remember on our way home, my brother cried all the way home because he wants to go back to the auditorium and watch it again. So yeah, I remember that. So yeah, we saw it on opening night, and I think we saw it in 3D. I think we saw it in 3D that night. But yeah, ever since that day, my brother wouldn't stop talking about it. When he was like 7 going on 8, and yeah, he is so obsessed with this film back then. He was so addictive to it. Like, yeah, wow. Yeah, he loves this movie a lot. That we end up to where we would watch this like every night before we go to bed, and yeah, yeah. So yeah, my brother was obsessed with this film. So yeah, and he wouldn't even stop talking about it back in the day. He loved it a lot. I mean, when I saw it, I liked it, but not as much as him. But yeah, yeah, my brother loved it a lot. That's one of his favorite movies, and he said that's his favorite underrated gem. So yeah, yeah, my brother loves this movie a lot. He was so obsessed with it, like I said. So yeah. But anyways, let's talk about the characters. Mormon. Mormon. He's a pretty interesting character. I gotta say, Mormon is a pretty interesting character. Like, he has the ability to to talk and see dead stuff. Yeah, he can see and talk to dead stuff, like dead people, like ghosts and zombies. Yeah, Mormon, he's a pretty interesting character. So yeah, and that's my brother's all-time favorite character from this movie. My brother loves that character. Is his favorite character from this entire movie. So yeah. Yeah, Neil, which is Mormon's best friend from school. He's a great character. And Courtney, she's a pretty she's a great character, and I would definitely say Anna Kendrick did a great job voicing her. And Mormon's parents, they're they're pretty they're good, I guess. They're good, and yeah, and Mitchell, he's a great character, and so is Nelvin, who's the boy. He was a funny character. I gotta say, and yeah, and the witch, I believe her name is Aggie. I have to say, she's a really interesting villain. Yeah, Aggie is a pretty interesting villain. She's, like I said, she's the witch that Mormon had to make her go back to sleep. So yeah, she's a quite interesting villain. Villain. So yeah. Yeah, and Mr. Prendergast, he's a he's a pretty good character, and I would definitely have to say John Goodman did a great job voicing him. So yeah, yeah this so yeah has a great cast. It does have. Yeah. So yeah, this is a kind of an interesting movie. I gotta say, pretty interesting. And this definitely does not feel like a kids movie. I mean, maybe a this movie is kind of weird, but at the same time, it's a pretty good movie. Sure, it is dark, it's very dark and all that. So yeah, I think this movie is pretty interesting. Like I said, I saw it in theaters when it came out in 2012, and this is one of the only three movies I saw in theaters. The other two being The Lorax and Hotel Transylvania, the first movie. So yeah, this is one of the only three movies I saw in theaters in 2012. So yeah, Yeah. Because, you know, my brother really wanted to see it. He's been, like, he watches videos of it on, he watches videos of it on YouTube on the computer a lot, and yeah. And yeah. Like, since the day we saw it, he would not stop talking about this movie. So yeah. Yeah. Like I said, it was one of my brother's all-time favorite movies. And one of his all-time favorite animated movies, and yeah. I enjoyed ParaNorman, but not as much as my brother. So yeah. Yeah. So yeah, and we watched this film like a couple weeks ago, and I think it really holds up. It's a pretty interesting movie, I gotta say. A boy, like, think of it, a boy who has the ability to see to see and speak to the dead. Just think of it. A boy who can see dead things and talk to dead people. Like, pretty interesting. So yeah. Yeah, pretty interesting movie. And Mormon is a pretty interesting character. So yeah. And are there any scenes I want to talk about? Um, I could not think of any scene on top of my head at the moment, but yeah. This is definitely the funniest. It does have some adult humor. So yeah, this kind of doesn't make look like feel. This kind of doesn't feel like a kids movie. I mean, sure, it may have adult humor, and it may be too dark and scary for young children, but it's a really good movie. Pretty good movie. I liked it when I first saw it when I was like 7. Then and I would be 8 in October of that year. So yeah, my brother loved it when he first saw it when he was like we were like 7.5, having but fixing to be 8 in a couple of months after this movie came out. So yeah, this is a good movie. So yeah, yeah, really good movie. I enjoyed it. So yeah. So that's all I can say about ParaNorman. So anyways, I'm gonna give ParaNorman a 9 out of 10. I could not think of any flaw with it. It's a pretty interesting movie. So yeah. So anyways, that is it for my movie review on ParaNorman. And stay tuned for my next movie review, which will be on Monster House. But until then, see you in the next video. Bye.